Trauma isn't just about car accidents, natural disasters, and violence. It can also be about things that didn't happen, whether you felt unsafe, unseen, or emotionally uncared for as a child. And it's not about how bad the event or events were. It's about how overwhelmed you felt in your body, in your brain at that time. And even though you've made it through, your body and your brain still feel the residual effects of those events, even though you've tried to push it down and move on. Your nervous system's like a smoke alarm. It sets off when it's threatened. The only difference is it remembers. That way, when you feel triggered through things like another image, a smell, even a song on the radio, it remembers and brings that level of threat up again. And your body sometimes gets stuck in that threat. So when anything like that happens to us as a way to protect us, our brain shifts into survival mode, which is generally fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So sometimes with certain traumas, we'll actually be stuck there, especially if we didn't have a way to process our feelings after the trauma, or there was no way to talk about it with anybody who was safe. Our bodies can remain stuck there. And so when we get triggered, and a trigger to trauma can often be something as simple as a smell or a song on the radio or an event. When we get triggered, then we slide back into that survival mode of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And if you've been through enough trauma, you can find yourself being very anxious all the time, or what we call hypervigilant for the next threat, because it's happened so much. So what are some physical signs of trauma or pent-up emotional pain? Physical signs look like trouble sleeping, tension in your shoulders or your jaw area, difficulty with digestion, especially when under stress or high anxiety, struggling with not feeling good enough, perfectionism, those sorts of things. And often when we try to relax and everything is good, we find that we're still enormously anxious. Those are some of the symptoms. So what's the difference between big T trauma and little t trauma in terms of trauma therapy? Big T trauma looks like experiences that people have that are violent, or a natural disaster and the impact to you, or stuff like car accidents. Those are the things that you see on the nightly news that people go through. Those qualify as big T trauma. But also, just as important are little t traumas, and they can often be just as difficult as big T traumas, just in a different way. So what that might look like is having a toxic relationship, or difficulty with family members at home, feeling neglected, emotionally abandoned by a caregiver, or just not feeling safe at home as a child. All of those things do constitute trauma. Sometimes talk therapy is not enough when it comes to trauma. The reason this is that oftentimes client and the therapist will sit and talk for several sessions about the traumatic event. And oftentimes clients will report that they feel like they get re-traumatized every time they tell the event over and over again. And it's important to note that not only our brains are going through the traumatic event as we remember it, but also our bodies as well. And it's even more important to keep in mind that once we step out of the clinical office setting and go out into the world, we can often feel re-triggered by something that reminds us of the traumatic event. And that could be something our partner says, or a song on the radio, or a smell, or something that we witness that can re-trigger the event. That's the reason why using traditional talk therapy in conjunction with EMDR and Brainspotting are ways to not only help calm your mind, but also calm your body and turning the dial down on those triggers. So remember, you don't have to have a trauma story for your pain to matter. If you feel overwhelmed and anxious and feel like you're rehearsing disaster, your body is trying to tell you something. And healing doesn't mean that you have to relive the traumatic event over and over again. It's about helping your body get the message that you're safe and you deserve peace. So if this feels helpful or validating, feel free to subscribe. I'm going to be leaving weekly content here about how to heal all wounds, manage anxiety, and finding your inner peace. If you love to work together, you can look up my website at Keely Rodriguez Therapy, KEELY.com, and we can schedule a 30-minute consultation to chat about what's bringing you into therapy and how I might be able to help. Until then, take care of yourself.